Wow, that was last night, and I know, we're going to get ready and wrap it up soon, because I know tonight I just can't wait for the word.
Praise God.
But I want to hit on just a couple of questions that I know a lot of the women preachers and just a lot of the women viewers are watching. Probably would like to know your views on. Of course, tradition, and you look at women wearing pants in the church. What are your views on that?
Well, I'll tell you this, if you came to Christ Missionary in Memphis, some people would probably be in culture shock, because, I mean, our congregation is a very relaxed atmosphere.
Okay.
I personally don't have any hang-ups one way or the other about whether or not women wear pants to church. There are some, though, who hold very strictly to that tradition that women should not wear pants, and some of them take it from that scripture where they talk about women should not wear that which pertains to a man. However, we have to, I think, Jesus talked about straining at a gnat and swallowing a camel. And what I found is, if the pants, it becomes that much of a barrier to somebody's salvation, then we're in trouble. Because I can teach a person how to change their dress. But if I miss the opportunity to tell them about Jesus because they have on pants, they've missed out on the opportunity of a lifetime. And I have too. So I think that sometimes what we do is we put the cart before the horse. We try to teach people the practice before we even get people in a relationship with God. Consequently, people know how to do church real well, but they don't have a relationship with God. But if we get people into a relationship with God where they begin to love God and respond to God in a way that corresponds to God's love for them, there are some things you don't even have to tell people to do. They just do it automatically. Now, I think that for each church, every house is different, and whoever that pastor is, they set the vision for that particular house. Now, in our church, I might preach in blue jeans and a t-shirt on Sunday. This summer, we had casual. Yeah, for the summer, we were casually dressed. So the deacons and myself and the preachers, we all preached in, well, they didn't preach, but I did, in blue jeans and t-shirts. But now that the weather is changing, I'm back in something that's more, that looks, I don't really preach in robes per se anymore, but I preach in something that looks more like a robe, some of these African type garments. But I think a lot of it too has to do with your demographic. We have, the average age at our church is about 37. And they have a lot of small children. And so, and then you have to look at the time that we're in as well. I did a conference called Online or Old Time Religion that just looks at the different generations. Our churches are multi-generational. You got baby boomers, you got millennials, you got Generation X, you have Generation Y, and many of them don't even think the church is irrelevant. And so while we're worrying about wearing pants, we really have an opportunity, or we're at risk of losing a generation that needs to know who Jesus is. So for me, pants are not that big of a deal. Right. What I say to our preachers is, if you're going to wear slacks, just make sure they're not too tight. Yeah. if you don't have anything but tight pants, wear a dress. But other than that, I don't really make a big deal about it, because I believe that it's more of a tradition than it is a commandment. And I think that sometimes we make more of a commandment out of our tradition than we do out of what the kingdom principles are. For me,